prayer was important to in terms of relationship with God. I think it's important for us as we think about prayer to realize trying to run ahead of our wives, to keep up with, try to get past them so we can lead them. That's kind of how it works a lot of times. But our wives are really sharp. We've got some awesome sisters in this church, and the guys are just trying to run ahead of you to keep up. So be patient with us and help us out, kick us in the rear sometimes, but understand. But anyway, there's this crazy cycle that goes on. Okay, that lack of respect, lack of love, and it spirals downward. That's the whole point of a part of this book. And a lot of that comes out, and this disrespect a lot of times on the female part comes out in being critical. Okay. Little things, little words, little comments and so forth that sort of just slip out or whatever. But it comes out as, and when men hear criticism, what they hear is contempt. They're like, you're kind of a worthless sluggard, and I'm not sure why I married you. My mom told me not to. I should have listened. That's what guys are hearing. Now, when the guys are not talking, the women are hearing that you're unloving. You don't really care about this situation. You're not really concerned about it. Because here's the thing. When we first got married, I could go to bed when we were fighting, and I could go to sleep. I could just roll over, conk, I'm out. Karen couldn't stand it. I mean, she'd be bowing me and kicking me, all kinds of stuff, because she just couldn't stand to go to bed without things resolved. Now, obviously, I've grown, but that's what she had to deal with. So some of you that are newlyweds or been married for a short time realize that you can make it still. We've been married 29 years. You've got some tough things there, but don't give up. Well, here's what happens when guys feel disrespected by their wives. Maybe it's because of criticism, maybe they don't measure up to their dad or whatever. Is they start going to the golf course, they start getting involved in some sports thing, they start going to a bar where other people kind of respect them. And they feel respected by their peers or whatever, and it ends up, again, at a bad place. Now, so the challenge this morning is for the guys, this is pretty simple, the guys to love your wives as Christ loved the church. The challenge for the sisters is to respect your husbands, to really respect them, to show great respect. And that's spelled R-E-S-P-E-C-T, right? R-E-S-P-E-C. And you know what? That song wasn't written by Aretha. Is it Aretha Franklin?
Yeah, Aretha Franklin.
It wasn't written by Aretha Franklin. You know who it was written by?
Who?
What's the guy? Otis Redding. Otis Redding wrote that song to his girlfriend. That song, R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Now, evidently, she didn't get the message because he was sitting on the dock of the bay, right? So, but that's true that a guy actually wrote that song, respect, because guys really want respect, and when they don't get it, they go sit on the dock of the bay and sulk. It's not a good thing. But here, and so a guy's deepest need is respect. That's his deepest need. And again, I think about. You think about what guys will do for respect. I don't know what happened to Tiger and his wife, All I know is that is the craziest situation that I can remember in my lifetime. This guy is a billionaire. He's got a beautiful wife, beautiful kids, jets, cars, planes, whatever he wants, and he's knocking on some prostitute's door looking for something else. I don't understand that. But there was one theologian that said every man that knocks on a prostitute's door is looking for God, because they're looking for something they don't have. And that's the only thing I can come with Tiger, is that he's got everything you could possibly want in this life, every possible thing you could want, but he's still missing something. So he's knocking on somebody's door, and maybe he's looking for respect. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not even going to go there because I don't know. I feel sorry for him. I feel sorrier for his wife and his kids because he obviously totally messed up. It's a crazy situation. But I think it does illustrate that guys will go a long way for something to fill them. They really want something. And the proverb talks about that. There's a proverb that. And Proverbs 2:16 through 19 talks about the adulteress and how she gets her man. says she gets him with the flattery of her words. She's building him up. She's showing him respect. And that's, you hear about these office affairs and so forth. The assistant or whatever shows a lot of respect to the boss, and they end up sleeping together. And you see the wife and the kids in the driveway. He's driving off because something happened there, and he wasn't getting respect at home or whatever. So he gets it at the office, and he leaves his family. It's crazy, but it happens, right? Also, in 2 Samuel 6:15 through 17, King David, who was married to who? Michal? How do you say her name? Michal, M-I-C-H-A-L. I knew somebody that named their daughter that. I thought, don't imitate her, okay? But anyway, in 2 Samuel 6:15 through 17, she's Saul's daughter. She's a beautiful woman. She's the king's daughter. Looks like they had a good relationship. And one day, David went out, and he felt compelled to dance before the Lord. And the Bible says, as he danced before the Lord, when Michal saw him, the Bible says she despised him in his heart. And basically, that was the end of their marriage. There was nothing after that. She disrespected him in her heart, and their relationship totally fell apart. That's why I don't dance for Karen. Just don't go there. No dancing for me. But their marriage really ended like that because she disrespected him in her heart, and they never recovered from that. I think it's a powerful testimony, though, to the need that men have for respect, that men really, really, really need to be respected. And Dr. E, I'm going to call him E because his name is weird, Egerich, says this: when I talk about respecting your husband, I do not mean being a doormat. Here's my caveat. I understand this. I do not mean burying your brains or never showing leadership ability or never disagreeing in the slightest way. I do not mean that he is superior to you and you're inferior to him in some way, nor do I want you to ignore your hurts and vulnerabilities. Basically, when you're respecting your husband, and I'm obviously, sometimes these guys that write these books are like, they're all over here. Wives, love your husband, and they don't really say that, they don't really say, hey, husbands, love your wives. They don't really point out that, hey, husbands need to love their wives, but also wives need to love their husbands as well. And over here on the respect side, they tend to get lopsided, just sort of focus on one thing for one group. And so the challenge there is just to have some balance here. I don't buy into all the things that come out there. But the thing is that in respecting your husbands, it's not to say that you're not as valuable, you're not as important or whatever. And the illustration that someone used was, I've got this old beat-up coffee mug. It's a plastic mug. I can throw it around, throw it against the wall, it won't break. And it's worth maybe a nickel or 50 cents. A nickel at a yard sale. 50 cents when you buy it new. But then you've got this fine piece of china, this little china teacup. It's worth $25 or $50 or whatever. The china is more fragile. It's it's smaller. It's more dainty, but it's really much more valuable. And that's really how you sort of need to see this kind of a situation. That men have this real need for respect. There's a definite need there, but it shouldn't devalue you as a woman, right? That's not the point at all. And actually, there's one woman talking about this respectful attitude. She writes. She says that. She wrote her husband 2 letters about why she respected him. She says, I'm amazed at how it has softened him in his response to me. I've been praying for years that my husband would love me and speak my love language. But when I began to speak his language, then he responded to me in the way that I wanted. So basically the point there was that she just made an effort to be very specific, to be very intentional in respecting her husband. And there was a great response to that. There was a genuine response to her intentionally showing him respect. And I think that's the point. How do you do that? How do you show respect to your husband? And the book talks about, I think, 5 or 6 things. I'm going to share these with you. The first one is, he calls Conquest, which is to appreciate his desire to work and achieve. There's this desire that men have to work and achieve, to accomplish. Of course, in the garden, God's put Adam there. And Adam just didn't sit under the palm tree eating drinking pina coladas and hanging out. He had a job to do in the garden. God created man to be fruitful, to be productive. And so there's this desire that men have to work and achieve, and it's really difficult for a man when he loses his job. I don't know, there's an argument here, but it seems more difficult when a man loses his job versus when a woman loses her job. A guy's identity a lot of times is wrapped up in his job. And you know this by what happens a lot of times when guys meet each other. Hey, what do you do? Hey, what do you do? What do you do? I don't know what girl conversations look like on that, like what you talk about when you meet each other for the first time. But guys are always like, hey, what do you do? And it's the thing we talk about. It's something that sort of is out there. But God did put man in the garden to cultivate, because there's this part of us created by God that wants to accomplish things. And then there's the second thing he talked about was hierarchy. Appreciate his desire to protect and provide. And he said, Tim Allen, the comedian, said that men have two choices: work or go to jail. Okay, he says, appreciate that even if you're even if you're the main breadwinner in your home. My wife makes more money than I do. I work, but she's more of a. But there's still this desire in me to protect her, to provide for her. There's always this desire to at some point for her to be able to back down, go part-time or whatever with her job, so that she doesn't have to work crazy hours. Then the next one was authority, showing respect. Authority, appreciate his desire to serve and lead. And again, Ephesians says, wives, be subject to your husbands. And there's a young husband who wanted to clearly demonstrate that he was the head of the house. And he went to this psychologist, and the psychologist told him to do some things. And he raced home, and here's what he did. He stormed into the house after work. He confronted his young wife. Pointing his finger in her face, he said, from now on, I want you to know that I am the man of this house, and my word is law. Tonight, you are to prepare me a gourmet meal and a sumptuous dessert. Then when I'm done eating, you're going to draw me a bath so I can have a relaxing soak. And when I'm finished my bath, guess who's going to dress me and comb my hair? My guess? The funeral director. But that's about how that would go, right? It's like, you come in with, but guys, again, and the Bible's very specific about this. This is not just a cultural thing that God says that the husband is the head of the home. There is, and it's not that he's better, that he's smarter, that he's got any more on the ball. There is order in our society. God has established order in our society, in the world, with authority. And there's authority at school. The teacher is supposed to be authoritative, right? The kids are and when this works right, when the authority figures are respected and honored, the system runs better, right? When policemen are honored and respected, the system's better. When teachers are honored and respected, the system runs better. When the football coach or the basketball coach is honored and respected, the team plays better. All those things work, but somehow we want to fight that when it comes to marriage, that God hasn't established an authority. There is an authority in marriage. The husband is the head of the wife. There's authority there. And so we need to understand that and submit to that. There is a submission issue here for this. It requires a real decision of submission. The next thing on this list of things showing respect is insight. He says, appreciate his desire to analyze and counsel. Now, that's one of the reasons why we never ask for directions, because we figure we can analyze this problem and figure it out. And even if we're driving around for hours, there's something in us that does that. But he talks about how appreciating your husband's wisdom, and instead of constantly telling him how wrong he is, okay, that's not the way to go. And when you